Cyber Innovations in the Private Sector highlights case studies and the latest industry trends from private vendors. Explore innovative solutions, success stories, and exclusive insights from industry leaders. Stay ahead with the cutting-edge developments driving the industry forward.
Today on CyberSecTV, we speak with Robert Sandru about the TrustBoost project and how the CyberBoost platform is shaping cybersecurity certification in Europe.
I'm Robert Sandru. I've been working with the Romanian National Cybersecurity Directorate for the past 3 years. I am a manager for the TrustBoost project, which is an European-funded initiative. And besides this, the activity at the Directorate, it's very diverse. We work as the NSC. It's responsible for the national civilian cyberspace, and our activity, at least in the past years since I've got here, it's very challenging. The core problem that the TrustBoost project is trying to solve, it's fragmentation. Right now, if you're a company that builds a digital product, let's say maybe a connected device or a software platform, and you want to sell it across Europe, you're essentially going through a lot of different national certification systems, different standards, different processes. It's quite inefficient, it's expensive, and it frankly creates blind spots in our collective security. So TrustBoost was born out of the recognition that Europe has strong cybersecurity ambitions at the policy level, but the operational infrastructure to deliver on those ambitions hasn't really kept the pace. So we are here with TrustBoost trying to close that gap so that cybersecurity becomes more a competitive advantage rather than a burden. We are going through a change in how the regulators think about digital products. For years, cybersecurity was treated as an afterthought, something that you patched after a product was launched. The EU is now saying no more. Security has to be designed from day one, and it has to be verifiable. And with the Cyber Resilience Act, the CRA, for the first time, manufacturers and developers are legally required to demonstrate that their products meet the baseline cybersecurity requirements before they can enter the market. And that's a massive change because certification is no longer a nice-to-have badge. It's the ticket that you need for market access. And the ecosystem, the companies, the labs, the national authorities need to be ready for these requirements. Harmonizing the certification process across Europe, it's important because if you think about it from a manufacturer's perspective, you've invested in getting your product certified in one EU country. Then you want to expand through 3 more markets. So you're potentially starting from scratch each one of the 3 times, because each national ecosystem right now has its own characteristics, its own timelines, its own interpretation of the standards. And that's pretty massive on the slowdown of innovation and competitiveness. Frankly, this means that a certification earned in Ireland carries real weight in Romania, in Slovakia and Germany. Harmonization creates a true single market for the digital products. And that, from a security standpoint, it means that we are all working from the same baseline. So there are no weak links in the European chain. Cross-border cooperation. It's absolutely important for improving the cybersecurity certification. And I'd say it's one of our strengths, our TrustBoost strengths. We've brought together 11 partners from 7 countries, meaning national cybersecurity authorities, conformity bodies, academic institutions, and private sector players, which each each brings a different perspective, a different maturity level, different regulatory context, different experiences overall. So that diversity is most of the time a feature, because when we iterate on our tools, our frameworks, our platform, we are stress testing already all these tools, framework platforms across very different environments. So the result is something European in design, not just a solution built for one country and then exported. So CyberBoost is the operational engine of TrustBoost. And I quote, "It's a software as a service platform. It's cloud-based, accessible to multiple stakeholders. It centralizes and makes transparent cybersecurity certification and conformity of digital products." In simple terms, imagine a dashboard where you can see at any point in time where a given product stands in its certification journey, what has been validated, what's pending, what's need to be updated. And it doesn't just take a snapshot. It tracks the product across its entire lifecycle. Because, a product that's compliant on day one needs to stay compliant, because it evolves, threats evolve, and regulation frankly evolves. And the CyberBoost platform is designed to support this process. So the compliance of the product, it's the tracking of the compliance of the product, it's really what differentiates these platforms from what exists today. Most certification tools are point-in-time solutions. You get a certificate, you file it away, and nobody looks at it again until there's a problem maybe. So CyberBoost is built around the lifecycle model. As the product gets updated, new firmware, new features, new integrations, the platform flags what that means for the compliance status. It creates a continuous feedback loop between the manufacturer, the certification bodies, and authorities. And that's the iteration speed that the modern digital products really actually require to be competitive. So mainly the CyberBoost platform will be used by regulators, by companies, by certification bodies, and that's by design. CyberBoost, it's by design a multi-stakeholder platform, which is actually the most complex and the most ambitious challenges about building this platform. So manufacturers and vendors will use it to manage and to demonstrate the compliance of their products. Certification bodies and labs use it to coordinate evaluations and share the findings. National cybersecurity authorities will use it for oversight, to get a real-time picture of what's certified, to what standard, and for how long. In the end, this transparency will benefit the end market too. Businesses, consumers who want to make informed decisions about the digital tool they rely on. So TrustBoost will help organizations comply with the Cybersecurity Act, with the Cyber Resilience Act, with NIS2. Let's say that these frameworks are not isolated. They are all interconnected layers of the EU cybersecurity architecture. So for many organizations to navigate through all these three frameworks at the same time, it's genuinely scary, because TrustBoost will help this navigation in two ways. First, at the knowledge level, we are building capabilities, we are building training and guidance across our consortium, so that the organizations involved understand what is required and how to approach this. And second, at the broader level, at the operational level, CyberBoost provides the tool to actually manage compliance, mapping the product status to the regulatory requirements, and supporting the evidence of conformity. So we're essentially translating the regulatory ambition into clear workflows that the organizations can actually use. The key milestones we expect for TrustBoost projects are the typical milestones of each European project. We are at the end of the first half of the project, because the project runs for 36 months, and it has two major reporting periods. The first phase, which we are ending now this month, focuses on building the foundation, aligning the frameworks, establishing methodologies, launching the first iteration of the CyberBoost platform with its features. So a few weeks from now, we could have been sharing how the platform looks. We are also running pilot engagements with partner organizations to validate the approach we have in real conditions. And the second phase, which we will be starting soon, it's shifting the foundation to scaling and to consolidation. So that means a more mature, more feature complete platform, a nicer design, easy to use, a broader stakeholder engagement across the EU, and maybe the most important part is producing the guidelines and the policy recommendations that could be possible to outlast the project itself. So the goal would be at the end of the year 3 that the TrustBoost project will leave sustainable infrastructure, not just a research output, a paper or a report. This initiative will benefit the companies that develop digital products. The benefit is very directly. So right now, the path from we build a product to we can sell it across Europe, it's quite unclear, it's expensive, and it's quite fragmented. So the TrustBoost project and the CyberBoost platform will streamline this path. So companies will have access to a clear guidance on what's expected under the EU frameworks, will be better equipped, and the certification bodies will be better equipped for evaluating and will be more efficient. And the platform, the CyberBoost platform, will make their compliance status very visible and verifiable to both customers, to both partners and the regulators. So that visibility will be for the beneficiaries a commercial asset, because it will build trust in the market, and trust in a market where trust is increasingly a differentiator. So it will give a very huge advantage for companies to prove that someone can trust their product or their company by itself. So for IoT, for connected device manufacturers in particular, because they are facing some of the harshest requirements under the Cyber Resilience Act, TrustBoost project and CyberBoost platform is essentially an accelerator. So we are helping them to get to market faster with confidence, and that confidence means their security posture will hold up under the scrutiny. Regarding TrustBoost and CyberBoost platform, we are going through a phase in which we will look for as many as possible companies or certification bodies interested in testing our platform. So stay tuned and follow our progress on LinkedIn or on our website, trustboost.eu. Thank you for the opportunity.